we do without him, Mom?
It's going on that. Come on.
He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah, I know I'm so good. Just stop. You're live now. Okay. See, we have to show how confident our kids are.
Yes.
Okay, so now YouTube and everything is going live.
Okay.
So, hi peeps, if you guys are here. I'm not sure if you are. Wait, I forgot. I should set up this is so funny. Hold on, people. Let me, okay, 47 viewers. Okay.
Yay! 47 people like us.
So, people are saying hi already. So.
Okay, we're ready.
Hi, peeps.
Bye, peeps.
Bye, peeps.
Bye, Dave.
See ya.
Okay. Mom and I are here. And today we are talking about what to do when you're depressed and broke and you don't have any money and you don't know what to do.
What a cheery subject. Yay!
So I'm going to do a little disclaimer here to start with. Mom and I are both not doing real well today. We're feeling pretty bad. But we only have 3 more days of taping while she's here. So we kind of really wanted to get this in for you guys. So please be patient with us if we trip over our words or if we're not feeling well.
We muddle things a little bit.
Yeah. So please be patient and hopefully we can get on this. So if you guys can give me thumbs ups and comments to make sure everyone can hear me and see me okay. I think we're coming through. Thank you, Marie. The problem is we've been sick for 28 years, so we're chronically ill. We just have gotten tired out with doing this because we've just been way overdoing. But we really wanted to try out this new life stuff with you guys. And all right, so I think everybody can hear us, so we're going to get started. Today we're talking about what to do when you're depressed and broke. Those two seem to go together, and with good reason. It is very discouraging when you don't have any money, and it is discouraging when you're working really hard and you're trying to make ends meet, and you have, things going on all the time.
About the time you get something taken care of, something else comes up.
Yeah.
It can be discouraging.
So there is a very good reason why depression goes with it. But there are things you can do. Mm-hmm. And like we just said, I think it was Maria that just said, what's your illness? We have chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. I just put a link there to our website, a little bit more about it. We got sick 28 years ago, and we've never gotten better. And it is really like having the flu that never ends. I mean, literally 5 minutes ago, I was laying on the bed saying, okay, I need this Alka-Seltzer to kick in.
And I said, should I take a nap before we start this?
Because really, I feel like I'm going to puke right now. I've got my ginger tea and mint tea right here trying to keep me going. And so it gets discouraging and it gets depressing. But there are things you can do to combat that. And so I'm going to start with the first tip because this is something I do every day. And if you do absolutely nothing else that Mom says, listen to me. No, but truly, if they do this very first tip, and this is the only thing you do ever, then sorry, I was making sure we were still on. I thought we'd lost him. You will go a long way in helping yourself. And it's so simple, you're going to say, oh yeah, whatever, but it works. That first tip is get dressed and put your makeup on. Every single day. Every single day. Every single day. And I say that because it makes a huge difference. If you're moping around in your pajamas all day long, then...
Well, think of it this way. When you come home, a lot of people, when they come home for work, what is the first thing they do? They slip on their pajamas or something more comfortable. And why do they do that? Because then they can relax and quit for the evening. Okay, if you have that same outfit on in the morning, that means your mindset is, I'm going to relax and quit for the day. So you need to reverse that, and that's what that does.
Yeah. And Angel or Angela, or I don't know, how do you say that name?
And Angeli.
Sorry. She says, get up, dress up, show up, and never give up. That's really true.
That's the bottom line.
We have a chronic illness to where literally we should be in bed every single day. We really should. We are that sick. We're that tired. Mike comes home from work and he says, man, you look bad. And
words you want to hear from your husband every day.
And he'll make me an Alka-Seltzer because that's what perks me up. And I'll go from mostly dead to semi-alive. But every day I try to accomplish something. And if nothing else, I get dressed and get my makeup on and sit down in the chair if I can't physically do anything else. And the thing is there's something psychological that goes on.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think we fully realize how much the way we look and the way we dress affects us. And I use this little girl syndrome to explain. You take any little girl or any big girl and you put her in an evening gown. I don't care if you're not even into that type of thing. You put her in a wedding dress, an evening gown, beautiful makeup. Her posture changes. She glows. And she feels beautiful. Her whole attitude, she feels more confident when she has her beautiful gown on. And she just feels different about herself. There's probably not one of you out there that didn't dress up for something really special, that you felt special. If you're in your pajamas all day long, you're going to feel discouraged and down. And so that getting dressed really affects your mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Marilyn says, I feel like I'm a zombie walking around every day. Yes, but you're a dress zombie.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Everyone, and someone else, I didn't catch the name, but someone else said, well, where are you showing up at? I'm showing up at my kitchen sink, and I'm doing the 3 dishes I can do for this minute. I'm showing up at the laundry, and I'm moving the laundry from the washer to the dryer. If that's all I can do, at least they're dry, and they're sitting in the washer. They're sitting in the dryer. And everyone can go pick out their clean underwear if they need to. So this is major important. Mm-hmm. You have to get dressed. You have to get your makeup on. And I know from experience, I have friends that have fibromyalgia, and I have friends that are sick. And they stay in their pajamas all day long, and it makes a huge difference on the days that they get dressed and the days they don't. This isn't just me.
Well, I went from being totally bedridden, and the first thing I did to start healing, one of the first things I did was I started getting dressed. I put a pair of jeans and a comfortable shirt on, and I couldn't do makeup at that point or my hair, but I at least got my clothes on. Then after a while, I was able to start doing my hair, just combing it, not even doing anything fancy, and then the makeup. And so you just start slow, but you start.
And just take the next step.
Dress like date night. Is that Dana asking if we dress like date night?
No, Dana, we're just saying that...
Don't wear your sweats and pajamas all day.
Yeah, don't wear yoga pants all day. Don't wear sweats all day. Put on some jeans or some slacks. It doesn't have to be fancy. Mm-mm. And you don't have to dress like date night. We're just saying, you know how good you feel when you dress up. And it makes a difference in your attitude. So
I noticed another thing, too. When my kids were young, my mom would take us show up at school for different things, and I was always so proud of her. She looked so nice. She was always put together and looked really nice. And when my kids were little and they first started school, I'd walk them to school, and here were all these moms. They had the baggy sweats on or pajama bottoms, and they looked like they were half dead, and they were dragging out of the car and dragging the kids out of the car. And I thought, I don't want my kids, I want my kids to be proud of me. I mean, my kids would probably be proud of me even if I had, but I wanted them to, be a little bit more proud of me when I show up at their school and stuff like that, because I was proud of my mom and how pretty she looked. And I thought, these moms, they didn't have their hair combed, nothing. And I think it affects our families more than we realize. It really does. Our husbands and our children. I know they should love us anyway. I'm not saying that. But, we should return that, honor that love and return the favor back to them by looking our very best.
Yeah,
but not even just for them. We need to get dressed so we can, for ourselves to feel better. So.
And right now, Mike could look at me and he would say, whoa, you're not doing that great. But I did. I slathered on a bunch of makeup. So did Mom. I put on a nicer shirt so that I would feel perkier. And, it really helps. And so, leggings and a long top, Chrissy, yes, that's fine as long as it's nice.
Not expensive.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
looking.
expensive or anything. And get dressed to be comfortable. I guess if you're wearing nice yoga pants with a nice shirt, that's okay.
It's fine.
But
we're talking about not looking like you just crawled out of bed or just came, from a sweaty workout at the gym.
And I don't care if you can't shower right away or anything. At least comb your hair. And wash your face. If you can't even get your makeup on, at least wash your face and comb your hair. And Casey, yes, the kids notice when you're dressed, and they notice when you're in your pajamas all day. And just for their state of mind, you may be chronically ill or you may be depressed or whatever, but just for their state of mind, it brings them a peace when they know that Mom isn't in her pajamas all the time.
There's a story we have on our website. It's called, it's a booklet we have. It's called When Queens Ride By. And this country was going to war. And everybody was frightened and scared. And the Queen went and she dressed all the way up in her best outfit, in her beautiful clothes, because everybody was terrified and upset. And she dressed in her best clothes and rode her horse through the town. And the people saw her dressed and confident and looking nice, and it calmed their fears. And it gave them encouragement and confidence, because if the Queen was looking like that, they felt that everything was going to be okay. And your children and your family feels that way. You may be going through some rough times, but you be the Queen, and you set the tone of what your family's going to feel, and don't have the fear and the terror and the discouragement fall over onto them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just a second, I'm going to try and find this real quick for you guys, because actually this is something that you guys need to read.
It's one of the best
every
encouraging
person
stories for discouragement.
Needs to read this. And let me get the link. Oh, I'm trying here. Just a second, guys. I apologize.
And even though moms really do set the tone.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, if you're happy, I mean, there is some to that saying, but the kids will feel just the way you look. They'll be able to tell. You can't get it. And it doesn't have to be fancy. Okay. It doesn't have to be anything expensive that you wear. Like we said, just to look the best. I saw a woman one time go to a garage sale. She had an old flannel shirt and a pair of jeans, but she looked so pulled together. And I thought, what is it about her that looks so nice? But she looked like she was confident and pulled together. And I thought, she's ironed her flannel shirt. I could see the creases down the sleeves. It was clean. And her jeans had a crease down. Everything was ironed. She looked clean and neat. And I was impressed with her. And people, the kids are. People do notice. People really do notice.
Okay, let's see. Okay, I put the link in there, guys, for you to read. What about if you don't like yourself anymore? Pain changes people. Lori asked that. Well, let me tell you, about 95% of the time, I don't like myself. Every day, well, not every day, but most days, Mike comes home and I tell him, would you please just dig a hole in the backyard?
Just shoot me.
And roll me in it, because I can't go on one more minute like this. But the thing is, you have to. The Bible says do not murder, so you can't. And so you have to find...
You can even glorify God in your pain.
Mm-hmm.
When you're going through pain, people are watching how you are reacting to that pain. And especially if you're a Christian, you know, am I moaning and groan? We moan and groan, but I mean, you can do it in such a way that people can admire and respect you, even, you know, through your pain. You really can. And it's hard, but that's your battle. Every person has their own battle, whether it's pain, whether it's the loss of a child, whether it's something else. A handicap, we all have our own battle. And instead of just saying, well, I have this special thing, so I can't do it anymore, you think, this is my pain, and I'm going to deal with it the best I can, and, you know, in the right mindset as best as I can.
Now, just a little side note here. I get dressed and put my makeup on every single day, but as soon as dinner is over, pretty much every night, I go soak in a really hot Epsom salt bath, and then I put on my pajamas. So I'm usually in my pajamas by about 6 o'clock. So I'm figuring I've been in clothes that long. I can have permission to go ahead and put on my pajamas and relax for the evening. So I don't stay in my pajamas until I go to bed, but I do stay, you know, most of the day. So anyway, so that's our first tip, is get dressed and put on your makeup, and that will help set your attitude for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing to do.
Okay, when you're depressed and you're discouraged and you think there's nothing I can do in my situation, I'm just at a standstill, we're going to give you some ideas of things that you should be doing at this point, or that would help you. Instead of sitting there and watching videos on how to cure my depression, or videos on news, watching the news, 2 hours of the news, you know.
2 hours, some people watch it all day long.
I know. Instead of sitting and doing that, what you need to do is, well, one thing is go find somebody else that you can help. You know, if you can't help yourself in your situation, then can I go help somebody else? And it doesn't have to be anything major. Sometimes it's just a matter of talking to the clerk at the grocery store. If you can say one nice thing like, I like your jewelry, you've done something to help somebody else for that day. You can go to an elderly, it doesn't have to be an elderly. We always say the elderly, but you know, housewives, I love it if somebody, I'm elderly, aren't I? I just thought of that. But you know, somebody Tara's age, if somebody came up and said, I made these cookies and here, I thought you could use them, that would make her day. Even if she bakes her own cookies, having somebody think of her. You can get up and do something for somebody else. Go mow somebody's yard, pull their weeds, anything you think of it. So do something to help somebody else instead of sitting at home thinking, woe is me, what am I going to do about my situation? Don't sit there stewing over it. Trust God. That's the whole thing. Just say, okay, I can't do anything more. God's going to have to do it for me.
Yeah, and you know, practical ways to help people is, I'm a gardener, so I will go and help my neighbors with their gardening. I like it. I enjoy doing it no matter where I'm at. So when I'm not feeling it, I'll help anyone with their gardening. And
I do it with organizing. My neighbor was bemoaning her closet. I said, I'll be right over and help you organize your closet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so, you know, and things like, you know, with the shootings this last week, you know, some people actually went out and donated blood. Some people at the Chick-fil-A, they opened up and they gave free food to all those people in line standing to give blood. Those are practical ways that you can give without just sitting at home worrying. But if you aren't able to do things like that, stop watching the news and hours
at
and
least
hours.
Start there.
You know, you just can't do that.
Watch instead, like either home improvement shows, stuff, or you know, things on TV, or videos, you know, online of how to improve. Maybe you can look at, how do I improve this situation? One example is, I go to a quilt bee. These women talk about how they spent $500 on fabric to get this quilt or these patterns, and hundreds of dollars on this stuff. I never spend hardly any money on my quilting things. Now, I could go home at the end of the day and feel very discouraged because Well, I wish I had what they had. I wish I can't ever make any quilts, but instead what I do is I go home, I look through magazines that they'd lent to me to see how I can make quilts myself with what I have. I watch videos online on how to do scrap quilts. So I learn how to improve what I'm having a problem with, if I can fix it myself, do something. Watch shows that teach you how to improve. For example, we had instead of, survival shows. Now, you may not want to be a survivalist. You don't have to be. But just improve anything. If you're worried about what's happening in the future, what are we going to do? The state of the world is chaos. What if everything caves in? Well, instead of sitting and watching stuff on the news about that or stewing on it, go and watch some videos on, a few survival videos. What if things do happen? I'll know how to build a fire. I'll know how to filter water. I'll know how to, and like I said, you don't have to become a survivalist to do this, but it'll ease your mind. The more you learn, the more confidence. People talk about an education like at a university. I push educations in practical matters. You can have all the education at a university that you want, but if you don't have the practical stuff to put those things in practice.
Yeah. So even if you're sick and depressed, at least do something to improve, the life of others and your life. And it can be very simple. I mean, very simple. Like the other day I was really sick, but my pen drawer on my telephone stand was a mess. So I sat down at the kitchen table and I organized that. It literally took me 5 minutes, but I felt so much better that I finally got to get something done. You just feel accomplished when you get something done. So that's kind of our point, is do something, even if it's little, with helping someone else, but stop being so selfish and just focusing on yourself. And we know it's hard. We've been there. We totally get it. But you've got to do something to help someone else or to help yourself.
And there's sometimes when I couldn't help myself, and you want to end with that, we maybe could, but I just couldn't do anything more. Every once in a while you need somebody else to step in and help you. And you've got to trust God that He'll provide that for you. I remember one day I was sitting on my front porch. It was an exhausting week, and I was looking at my lawnmower. It broke, and the grass was about knee high, and I was just in tears. And I said, what am I supposed to do? I didn't have $5 to fix this lawnmower, let alone the probably 50 was going to, or more. And I had no lawnmower. I couldn't mow it. I didn't have anybody to ask to mow it for me or anything. And I'm looking out there, and I was wanting to get very discouraged. And I thought, I'm not going to do this. I can sit here on this porch steps crying and whining about how I don't have a lawnmower. Dear God, my grass is too high. The city's going to get after me. I can't do anything more. And I got up, and I thought I'm going to go in the house and do what I could do. I wasn't in the house even 5-10 minutes. I heard a lawnmower going, and I couldn't figure out. And I walked outside, and here was this man. He didn't even live in the neighborhood. He owned a house in the neighborhood he rented. And he was out mowing my front yard. I'd met this man one time before. And I ran out to thank him. And he said, I know your husband had left. And he said, you always kept your yard beautiful. And I thought there must be something wrong that you're not mowing your yard. And here he was. He was like an angel. I always thought of him as an angel that God sent to me. I didn't even know his name. And he'd mowed my yard for me. And he said, if ever, I told him my lawnmower was broken. He said, walk down with me. I'm going to show you where I keep my lawnmower. And you can always use this whenever you need it. I mean, you got to trust God more in some of these things. I'm sorry. There were times I couldn't do it anymore. I could not do it.
Yeah.
So.
And Chrissy says, that's why I make my bed every morning. That is the one housekeeping job that I don't care if my head is in the toilet. Well, okay, the only time I don't do it is when my head is in the toilet with the flu or food poisoning or something. I think I have not made my bed once in the last year, and that's when I got food poisoning. Make your bed and get dressed every single day.
Yes.
Every day.
I don't even go to the bathroom in the morning when I get up until my bed's made.
Just pull the covers up. I have one sheet and one comforter, and I just pull them both up at the same time and put my pillows on there, and it takes me 30 seconds.
And if you say, my bed's too hard, too complicated, get rid of some of the pillows, get rid of something on it then if it is.
You need to simplify somehow. So that, yes, Chrissy, that's right. We do make our bed every single day. So one other thing we're going to talk about, which we're not going to be real long on this today, but we'll probably end up being long anyway because we say that and then we keep going. But you have to have faith in God. If you are a Christian, God has promised that He is going to take care of you. Period. He has. So when are you going to start believing that? And Mom heard a really good saying one time, and she's going to elaborate a little bit on it because people really need to add this into their vocabulary when they're speaking. Because we'll see if we can remember it. Our brain is shot, but go ahead.
I can't remember it.
Okay, so it was
my husband's grandmother. One day, I noticed she sat there and she said something to the effect of, what was it? Do you remember? It was like, I just don't know how this won't work out. Something wouldn't work out. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really brain dead. Something, she was sitting there, and she was a sweet Christian lady, and she said, well, this is not going to work out. And I thought she needs to finish the sentence and say, this is not going to work out because I don't have enough faith that God's going to work it out.
Yeah.
Finish your sentences where I can't do this because I don't have faith that God's going to help me do this. You finish your sentence up like that, and you're going to start thinking how many times you don't trust God. I don't think we realize how much we give into.
So, like, an example is you say, I don't have the money for my electric bill. Instead of putting a period, then you need to say, because I don't have enough faith in God to provide for me.
Exactly.
Because that's what you're saying. So instead of saying, I don't know how I'm going to get this car fixed, you need to say, instead of a period, put a comma and say, because I don't have enough faith that God is going to bring me the money or bring me someone to help fix it. Or if you say, I'm sick and I'm never going to get over this back pain and I'm never going to get out of bed, you need to put a period that says, a comma that says, because I don't have enough faith in God to heal me. Now, God may not choose to heal you. His healing may be that He's going to bring you through it. But the truth is if you're a Christian, one day you will be healed. And so, after 28 years of us being sick, I'm looking forward to that day, to be perfectly honest. It's like, okay, I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not looking forward to being healed, but you have to have faith in God. And when you have these things happen and you are complaining and griping, you need to finish your sentences and say, because I don't have enough faith in God.
When you have these things happen, people that aren't Christians are watching you to see how you react to them. Are you going to react the way God tells you to react and, the way you're supposed to with faith and confidence? Or He has you go through these things so they can watch and see, and they just then desire what you have.
Yeah. And so, in those kinds of situations, what you need to do is just go and then help someone else and, keep taking one step forward, because it really will make a difference. So I think is that our main point? That's our main point. So does anybody have any questions? I will wait just another minute or so to answer any questions that anybody might have. We are going to be live. Normally we try to go about 12 o'clock, but since Mom and I aren't feeling good and we wanted to get this in before she leaves, we're probably going to be about 12:30 or so for how to iron.
And if you don't like ironing, you might want to watch, just because I will have a few tips on, if you hate ironing, how to have your clothes look nice without ironing.
Yeah, so if you're not an ironer, is that a word? An ironer?
I don't know. Presser? I don't know.
What is the word for a person who irons? I don't know. Does anybody know? Kristen, I wish your mom wasn't going home. Lori, I'm tired of trying. Well, Lori, in that situation, then what you need to do is you need to get dressed and you need to rest. You know, you can only try for so long, and you can only do so much in your own power.
Sometimes when it's really overwhelming, there's a verse that says, "Be still and know I am God." And it's like God saying, take a breath, relax, and stop trying. We talk about getting up, keep trying, keep going, but there are situations where God wants you just to rest, just like Elijah in the Bible. He had Elijah, after the battle that he was fighting, a really hard battle, he had to rest, sleep, and get a good meal. The angel came and fed him. And sometimes we push so hard. Get up and go. You can do this. You can do cheerleading stuff. But then there are times when you have to just say, okay, I need to take a break.
Yeah. And, a perfect example of that is we had 6 car accidents in a year. Just over a year. And my brother-in-law had died. My niece came to live with us, so we went from 4 kids to 5 kids. She was an only child and came into this family of 4 kids. And it was very stressful the whole 2 years. We ended up in a nasty court battle for custody and protecting her and that kind of thing. And so I was really worn out. So we got some money from one of the car accidents. So I took for a month and I went to a motel and I just sat for a month in a cheap hotel room. It was $250 a month. And I went to the hot springs and I rested at the hotel. And I didn't feel guilty about it. I was beyond exhausted. It was to the point where I could hardly move. And so, and quite frankly, it didn't really help me as much as I was hoping it would. But, I did take that time to rest, and I did do it, and you just have to do that sometimes and rest. Now, I missed the name. I think maybe Sandy asked, you said one time that you don't have a lot of trash. What do you do with cans and things like that?
Okay, it's not that I don't have a lot of trash, but I do have to throw some things away, and cans are one of the things. But I do a lot of things with my cans, like I've cleaned them out and I've set them on my workbench, and I have one for my screwdrivers and one for my files that I use for work. And all different kinds of things on my workbench set along there. I even use them downstairs around my sewing table for putting pencils, scissors, that type of thing in. You could use them on your desk too to hold different things. Even tuna cans and stuff like that. You can spray paint these cans. You can cover them in fabric, glue fabric on them, or wrapping paper, whatever. Like the tuna cans hold paper clips and little odds and ends like that. So you can do quite a few things with your cans. Now, another thing, I take and save a can every once in a while to pour my grease into for it to harden, and then I throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you have to remember, too, that Mom is single.
Yeah, but when I had you guys, I still only had...
Well, I know, but...
once...
But Mom is single, and nowadays, they have a lot more trash in the packaging and stuff. So, like, for our family, we will go through more packages than just because we have more people. But, she really doesn't... How much do you use? A bag every week or so? 2 weeks?
2 trash bags, little grocery bags.
2 Walmart sacks.
But, 2 things, too. By going to thrift stores, I don't have packaging as much. By buying the toys and things at the thrift stores. And when I do have packaging, like I bought a little table thing, and it had cardboard along the 2 sides of it. Long, narrow cardboard. Well, I brought that cardboard to give to Tawra. I said, will this work for molds for your soap? So I still look at all the packaging and what I could do with it. So
my son chimed in on YouTube and said, hello from our living room. Hello, Dave.
So, that's what I do with stuff.
Yeah. All right, so Mom and I are going to be back about 12:30 or so, maybe. Yeah, about 12:30. That'll give us 45 minutes to take an Alka-Seltzer and perk ourselves up again. And we're going to be doing ironing and how to get wrinkles out when you don't want to iron, which is me. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. Please check out livingonadime.com. We really appreciate when you visit our site, and we appreciate when...
And there's a lot more tips on this subject.
There's a lot more tips on livingonadime.com. So please run over there and check it out, and we appreciate you when you guys support us. Have a great night, or
Bye.
not night. Have a great day.